Hey guys, I got to watch a Demon Slayer movie and it was awesome. The animation was fantastic. The storytelling was top tier as always. We got our favorite characters back, Crybaby Zenitsu, Tanjiro Inosuke, and we got a Flame Hashira who was fantastic all around. And yeah, today I just really wanted to make a Demon Slayer video, and so here it is. It's about the fight between the upper third demon Akaza and the Flame Hashira Rengoku. So yeah, this fight was a visual spectacle and it sort of develops and expands on some of the ideas we've seen before where people becoming demons, and in this fight there's a specific relation to that and relation to how strength and morality sort of decides what the demons and the demon slayers do. The whole fight kicks off with the arrival of Akaza, and this sort of sets up the character we're going to meet because we've never met any of the upper ranks before this, and it's sort of interesting to see what these characters are. And his first action by attacking Tanjiro makes it like open up to his character, right? Because we get to see that he's like no nonsense and he values strength, and he doesn't want to be involved with sort of the weak. He doesn't want anything getting involved with fighting the strong and battling the strong. And his whole ideal and personality has to do with the strongest and getting more powerful and getting stronger. And that sets up sort of his perspective on the thematic side of this battle. And in the case of Rengoku, who was set up in the beginning of the movie, and we were able to see sort of his kind-heartedness, his warm character, his determined ideals, his enthusiasm. Because like this guy was like so sad and pissed off and he wanted to hide under a rock, and by doing that he was like his eyes were wide open and he was still smiling. Like, so they've set up the character of Rengoku and they've come in with Akaza. And the more thematic conflict that happens is between the fact that Akaza really wants Rengoku to become a demon. And the reason behind that is that Rengoku is going to be able to last forever. He's going to be able to get stronger and he's going to be able to reach his full potential if he becomes a demon, which makes him immortal. And whenever he's cut, he's not going to be able to die, and he wouldn't grow old. And he would, in Akaza's eyes, release the weakness of being human, while from Rengoku's perspective, he finds the strength of humans and the beauty about humans, the fact that they grow old and die, which makes them lovable and which makes it so that their wills and their strengths are inherited. And throughout the battle, Akaza is doing his best to try to convince Rengoku to become a demon, and he obviously disagrees with him, and he doesn't believe that becoming a demon has any benefit and any profit, and he despises Akaza for that, and he really wants to take him out while holding his own ideals of protecting people and making sure everyone gets out alive and making sure that the evil that comes up is destroyed. One thing that's addressed by the earlier conversation of Akaza's desire for strength is that Rengoku believes that whatever his motivation is, he's never going to become a demon. And I feel like that's highly relevant because when you look at the entire story up until now, or rather the story has been directing us towards the fact that each demon and each demon slayer, or at least the main ones, they have some level of morality and they have some level of desire, right? And so in the case of the demons, their morality is based on, well, we need to get stronger and we need to protect and we need to eat humans and we need to kill and we need to fight and greed and all that. While in the case of the better and stronger demon slayers, you find that their morality guides their strength, right? When in the case of the demons, it's the other way. Their strength is guided by their morality. And the demon slayers find that they keep training and they keep getting stronger, even though they get pushed back, even though they get hurt, even though they get friends and families killed consistently, they're able to push up and grow stronger because even though their families died, they inherit that ideal. And that's sort of what the fight does. Because when Akaza is so focused on becoming stronger and having this ideal of strength, he can't wrap his head around the morality that Rengoku is so fixated on, right? Because he goes on to state, "Of all the pillars I killed up till now, none of them were of flame, and none of them ever agreed to my invitation. Why is that? As someone who trained in the same martial arts, I find them hard to understand." And from that statement, you can sort of see the breakdown as to well, where he's coming from and why he can't understand morality. And from the perspective of Rengoku, he's like, he doesn't care what Akaza is on about. He has a strong sense of morality that's going to lead him through the fight, and he's going to use whatever he can to kill Akaza. And that then leads into the battle where Rengoku makes the decision to go in close, right, to get into Akaza's space, because if he's standing far away, he can't cut his head and he can't finish off the battle. So he's driven so much, even though he knows he's not as strong as Akaza, his ideals push him so much further, right? And when they go into the first exchange in this close quarter barrage, Akaza comes out unscathed and untouched. Obviously, he was touched by so many powerful attacks, but then he regenerates. And Akaza sympathizes with Rengoku and is like, come on, you're strong and your attacks are powerful, but I've already healed up. In your case, you can't heal up. You've lost an eye, you've broken ribs, your internal organs are weak, and you can't get back. So eventually you're just going to die, and if you die, your power is gone. And in the case of Rengoku, he symbolizes the fact that morality would be stronger than the regular physical strength that demons pursue and the greed that it makes them have, right? And he goes back into charge against Akaza because he's still trying to ward off this evil. And in the end of it, he ends up getting Kakashi'd with a hand through his chest. And everyone at that point is distressed at the sight of it, because even Akaza is like crying out for Rengoku. He's like, oh, become a demon. If you become a demon, you'd still have powers, you still get stronger, you're going to heal, but now you're just going to die. And then at this point, Akaza's facade of strength gets turned over by the fact that he fears the sun, and the sun begins to rise, and he starts to panic, right? He tries to get away from Rengoku, but Rengoku keeps him and holds him down and restrains Akaza from escaping. And by doing that, Akaza starts to get even more worried, more agitated, and he just forces himself out of there by removing both his hands by the sheer pressure of how much he jumped. And so he runs and scurries away into the forest, being a coward, as Tanjiro shouts out at him and Tanjiro makes the point to state to him that he's a coward and that Rengoku won the fight and that he isn't the winner of the fight. And we can go on about like moral value and moral winning or ideological or thematically winning, but the real truth is that Akaza won the fight. He was physically stronger than Rengoku. But what Akaza has done is that he's actually made Rengoku a martyr. And that actually supports what Rengoku stands for, right? Because if he's standing for a strong ideal and strong motivation, he's basically transferred that will onto Tanjiro and Inosuke and Zenitsu and the rest of the demon core. Because we were able to see them, and we were able to see that they were getting sort of more ramped up. You can tell that they're ready to go harder against the demons because of their teammate, because of their comrade who's been lost in battle, right? And even when you look at it from a well, okay, even though they're more motivated, whatever, Rengoku's lost. But from Rengoku's perspective, there's a contrast that was made. So earlier in the movie, there was a demon that died, and that demon that died, they showed the death like for a good chunk of the movie, right? A decent amount to communicate what they wanted. And for that chunk, they showed the negativity, they showed the sorrow, they showed the loneliness, because the character who was the highest ranked of the lower ranks, as it was disintegrating and as it was dying off, it was only thinking about how it wasn't able to eat more humans. It wasn't able to do what it wanted. Oh, it's so angry at the Hashira. It's so angry at Zenitsu. It's so angry at Inosuke. It's so angry at Tanjiro. You know, there's so much resentment, and it dies and it's there by itself. But when you contrast it with Rengoku, you look at Rengoku had a smile at the end. He saw his mother. He was satisfied with his choices. He was satisfied with dying. He was satisfied with his decisions. And you look at the fact that he was dying in the midst of other people. There was Tanjiro there who was shedding tears for him. There were people who actually cared about him. And when the message was then sent to his other comrades, they get more agitated. They feel something. So there are people who actually care about him, and his life then has meaning from that. But in the case of Akaza, he does not recognize that type of strength. And then Rengoku represents that type of strength. You know, it's a beautiful, beautiful fight. obviously visually, but thematically as well. And it does so much brilliance for setting up the future of these characters, because we're going to have more with Akaza and we're going to see more about what happens to him. And honestly, I really enjoyed the fight in the entire movie, and I would like to make more videos on it. And so if you want to see more Demon Slayer movies, just what you want. If you like the fight, did you like the movie? What was it about you thought was most interesting? Because I thought the fight was the best part, but obviously there was a large chunk I haven't talked about. So yeah, comment down below and see you later, guys. Peace.